went home that night and said, "Hey, babe, you want to move to Florida?" She was like, "You serious?" By the time I finished asking the question, she was packed, ready to go.
Man, the situation that happened with me last year, I was in a place where I was drawing back closer to God, and it caught me by surprise.
And even though I'm put on a brave safe, I do have hard moments. I do have moments when I get frustrated and irritated. And probably every parent listening is just telling me, "Hey, it's okay. We're not perfect all the time." And especially as a mindset coach and hearing people say, "Hey, so and so said this when I was a kid, and my parents said this over me when I was a kid," and that stuck with me until today. And that's why I'm struggling in this area of life, because of what was said to me as a kid. And then you go back and you're like, "Man, did I ever say anything like that to my kids?" That was bigger than anything.
And yes, it go 1, 2, 3. I got to be a beast and be like 1, 2, 3. I'm hot, watch me unleash and it go 1, 2, 3. When you know that you the best out, chest out. I'm saying I got now, forget the rest now. 1, 2, 3. I got to be a beast and be like 1, 2, 3. I'm hot, watch me unleash and it go 1, 2, 3. When you know that you the best out, chest out. I'm saying I got now, forget the rest now. I rap with the soul of Frankie Beverly, amazed on these graceful beats, forever heavenly. There'll never be none after me unless we talking let us see, but let us see. But get on high notes like I'm lettuce. It's the real dreamer and artist formerly known.
Wow, man, my wife and I don't have kids yet, but as a leader on my job, I can relate, and because those moments you have your moments, and I think about some of my moments with my staff, and I'm probably in one of those moments, and it's been times, especially last year, that I had to apologize to my staff a couple of times, let them know I'm going through some stuff right now, or apologizing for being so distant. And now I'm now taking control over it, and getting, I won't even say getting back to me, but I'm becoming the new version of K Noel.
That's good.
And so we can, sometimes we can lose reins over stuff, and that's why when I talk about letting the storm speak to you, I'm talking from experience.
Yeah.
But I get it from a leadership perspective of sometimes having those moments, and the staff may not have noticed it, but I noticed it.
Right.
And the relationship I have with God, the Holy Spirit convicts me quick.
Oh yeah.
And it checks me, and you have to be willing to accept that accountability. Like, you know what?
That's a word.
You're right, God. I accept that. So now it's like, okay, well, how can I navigate around this season now? And we have our seasons, like I notice, certain things that I've been experiencing for years. So now I'm in the mindset of how can I pivot from this? Or what can I do to navigate through this season that I normally go through? And we have to pay attention to that, man. And my coach, Nikki, she put me on game on something, because she does content creation. And she was she posted on her stories about looking at something from mob bosses. And I was like, what? how does that relate to content creation? But she broke it down. I'm talking about, she broke it down to a science. When it comes to community, when it comes to interacting with your community, your brand, understanding your brand, having the people you can learn from, everything in. And I was like, you know what? That's a lot to unpack from that. And I look at I was looking at the Mr. McMahon documentary.
I was watching it. Should I watch it?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll talk about that after. It's
all
a lot.
right.
And I'm gonna get into it now. And I was looking at certain stuff, like, man, you should have probably shifted from this right here. And you have to know when you are being unproductive, and I'm not saying work wise, I'm saying character wise. When when your character is unproductive, you got to know when to make the shifts and when to make the adjustments, and what are the adjustments going to look like. You have to know how to define each one of those areas. And, you know, I look at Mr. McMahon, and then I don't know if it was real or not, something he tweeted after the Netflix was released. Something he was saying, you know, how it was, it's the filming started before, you know, everything came out, in which they do say that. But he was like, you know, he thought that Netflix would have been X, Y, Z. Then it's like he went off the rocket. And it, you know, it's like, man, at that moment, it's just shut up and know when to shift. You could have said something way different from that, because he was saying like, Vince is not Mr. McMahon. You know, Vince, you know, Mr. McMahon is just a character, but you making Vince and Mr. McMahon look a lot alike right now. But, you know, it's a matter of knowing when to shift, when to fold those cards and say I was wrong. And sometimes a lot of people, their pride get in the way of folding and saying, you know what, I was wrong. And the Holy Spirit is convicting you and telling you you're wrong and you need to make these adjustments. But again, knowing when to fold.
Yeah, I think accountability is one of the most powerful things you can have. If you master accountability, that's like one space in the mindset realm. Like if you master mindset, your own mindset, that's self-awareness. You master that, you master accountability. No one could tell you anything. Like if you have the power, like one, you know, if you know who you are, you know your value, your worth, no one can say anything to you that's going to sway you in any way. And that brings you to a level of maturity too. So when you're even accountable, you can apologize to somebody and for something when they might, like you said, they might not even notice that you did them wrong. But you have that guiltlessness on you now. But then you can forgive people. That's the other thing that's so powerful. The power of forgiveness, man. If you're able to be accountable for everything and have ownership, I like the word ownership. And I think that's why with ownership, that all ties in because like forgiveness is owning your emotion too. When you don't forgive, you allow someone else to own your emotion. You allow someone else to own your mood. The Lord just gave me that just now. But when you forgive, you take ownership back of your feelings and your emotion. And so when you're accountable, you take ownership back of your situation. You take ownership back of that circumstance. And so when you own all these things, you know, when you have self-awareness, you take ownership of your mind. The more like people talk about, and I'm in the I'm getting into the real estate space too, but there's more real estate than the land and the buildings and the property. There's emotional, spiritual real estate, and either we own it or, you know, the flesh or the devil owns it. But the more you own, you know, I don't even know where this came from. Thank you, Holy Spirit. The more you own, the better you off. Like I own my mind. I have ownership of my flesh because I gave ownership. I signed a lease with Jesus Christ. So Jesus is over this flesh, right? My spirit, you know, he owns that. He owns that. And so, you know, having those areas like when one with Christ, he signed that. He's what's it called? Co-borrower. That co-borrower, but he took the full price. So he owns my mind, he owns my spirit, he owns this flesh. He took completely ownership, but he gives me authority over it, right? So he paid it off, but I'm getting the investment, I'm getting the residuals. When you own that, no one can really touch you. You know, when you have power to forgive, you can forgive anybody. If you can forgive somebody that molested you, raped you, they might not even care, but you can take your power back by just having that forgiveness in your heart. You know, when someone when someone treats you wrong, you have ownership of that in your mental space. You can say, hey, I can leave this person alone and be good, or I can forgive this person and be great. There's so many areas that once you have ownership of it, no one can touch you. And accountability, because I think a big thing now is like because I'm thinking about something I just saw recently, like a lot of people talking about the dating space and all that kind of stuff, and how there's no accountability. You can win in that space just by having accountability. And if you have accountability, you know what it doesn't look like. So you can save time in your interaction with people, whether it be building relationships, friendship, whatever. When you have ownership, you know what people that don't have ownership look like. So you can connect with people that other have. I've noticed when I'm a homeowner, I connect with people that that are homeowners and show others how I got here. When I was married, we was influencing and hanging out with people that were married, right?
Yeah.
So when you own this area, that's what draws people like myself. You're relentless in your mindset. I have ownership of my mindset, right? We have that same likeness, so we get drawn together in our content and even doing stuff like this. But we can also recognize, okay, that person probably needs help, but that person isn't here. Like, that's why we're here making this content, sharing this information with you, because it's a concept that people, once they get it, they got it. And one thing I always say is, like, once you figure it out, you'll always figure it out. So once you crack the code on your mind, once you crack the code on like that connection with God, you're always going to get there. You're always going to have the key. You're always going to have that access. You're always going to have that key, that ownership, right? God was like, hey, I died for your sins. But what does that really mean? That means I can take whatever I got to him and he can make it all right. That means he can show me what things look like from a spiritual eye versus the fleshly eye. Like, he can take my situation and say, hey, hey, the way you move, you wouldn't even thought my wife passed away 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It was only 6 months ago. Right? You look at the kids, because I'm teaching them mindset. I'm teaching them ownership. I teach them how to speak over themselves, how to pray, right? So now they can go about their day good. They look at the kids, it's like, wow, these kids are like this, and and their mom passed away, but they're still moving, they're still acting like my kids are amazing, right? Like, it's all about training up and teaching others how to get to a place where they can always win. Because again, like you said in the beginning of this, we're only here for a moment. So what's our impact going to be? Are we going to waste time being stuck, or are we going to just say, hey, if I'm being honest, I'm like, I'm going to take my wife's quote. Okay, this is my wife's quote. Y'all can use that. She'll always say, bump that. If something wasn't going her way, or like, especially when she was, she was a prayer warrior. I'm talking about cast out devils. She didn't play. She'll be like, bump that. Someone like my daughter had a bad dream, bump that. We're going in that room, we laying the oil, we praying. That was her catchphrase. Everyone known that. She would say bump that to everything. So I'm going to say to your life, bump that. Don't worry about, like, you have to have that ownership. You have to say, you know what? We decide what we take in. I don't even know why I'm going on this rant, but we decide the information we take in, right? Someone could say, you're brilliant, and you can be like, whatever. Someone could say, hey, you're nothing, and then you say, oh, I'm nothing. If you feel bad, we choose what words we receive. We choose what blessings we take on. We choose what we gravitate to, right?
Yeah.
And I'll give a small little example. 1 million people watched that debate, right? Depending on what candidate you was going for. Like me, I just saw a comedy show. I'm being honest. I was going either way. It was funny to me on both sides. I was like, yo, both of these people got me dying laughing, right? But if you was going for Trump, everything he said was like on point, right? If you're going for Kamala, everything she said was on point. And we all watching the same thing. I'm watching both of them and I'm laughing. Like, these people are hilarious because I don't care about either one of them, right? So depending on or you probably didn't even watch it, but depending on where you're sitting at, that's how you receive things, right? So that you take that same principle with yourself. Well, depending on how you see yourself, whatever words someone says to you, you can take it. You're a champion, whatever. I don't feel that. Oh, you're a loser. You're never gonna be nothing. That affects you. Whatever you choose, whatever you receive, that's on you. So take ownership of what you believe about yourself. Take ownership of who you are in God. Take ownership of everything. Take ownership of your flesh. Take ownership of your spirit. And I'm gonna end right there, man. I think I got the point across.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, you just triggered me right there, and I gotta go here now. This is where we have to be set aside. And you hit the head on something about how if somebody says, oh, you're a loser, how people, they're quick to accept that. and now it's in the atmosphere, my God. And we have to be the salt on the earth to change and shift the atmosphere and shift the mindsets of people, because the world has become so negative. We look at the presidential debate. It's a circus. Man, I was watching something on YouTube, and I kept coming across presidential commercials, and I'm like, man, they are petty.
Right.
And it's like, bruh, this is, and it was funny, but I was like, this is beyond crazy. And I do social media management, and I know for a fact that negativity will sell.
It does.
Negativity will go viral.
That's why I don't got a lot of followers.
Well, and that's where I'm at. I hold the standard for anybody that wants to work with me. I hold that standard of, I'm not just doing anything. I'm not dealing with just anyone. Now, even with the podcast, next season, anybody that reaches out to me, yeah, you're gonna fill out the form, but we also gonna have a one-on-one interview before the interview. Yeah. Because I need to see where your heart is. Because we have to be very intentional now with the things that we're doing, because for me, this podcast isn't just something for me to be seen. It's to help somebody. You know, like I said, I want to pour into leaders. Yeah, I want to pour into leaders, but there are going to also be some other people who are not leaders that's going to need this same conversation that can get something out of it. So I'm not, the responsibility and the charge that God has given me, I'm not about to play with it with somebody who just want to be seen. We're not about to do that. And I'm saying that publicly now. We're not about to do that. This is serious business for me. Will it eventually get monetized and stuff? Yeah, but when the people I don't take this lightly, and God was dealing with me about that. You know, even before we even got started today, that take it. That, you know, people take it as an honor to even be on your podcast. Don't take this lightly. So man, now with the mindset that I'm having, you know, this podcast is it. Yeah, and it's not. This is not something to just do for fun or just to play with. And I'm gonna be honest. There may be some times where I may have to take that season break. That mid-season break, because, you know, burnout is real. I'm doing all of this by myself, plus managing other people's social media accounts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But at the end of the day, God has gave me that charge to do this, and I'm not taking it lightly. I'm not dealing with the negativity. We have to really shift our mindsets and be able to receive what the people that are pouring into you, people that are speaking life over you, learn to position yourself to receive that, opposed to receiving the negativity.
Yeah.
And
I made a... Okay. Sorry.
Let me finish this.
Go.
God led me to this book called The Emotion Code. And the book kind of aggravates me a little bit, but I get what God is showing me. And the guy, he's talking about this emotion code that he uses, and he's breaking it down. And he is yet, because I listen to audiobooks, he is yet to get to the point to me to what he is doing, and it's aggravating me. But nevertheless, it's some information in it that God wanted me to see. And he talks about emotional traps. And he goes all the way. And I tell people all the time that even as a child, even as a baby, when you're in your mother's womb, whatever the mother is experiencing, that's emotional trauma for you. Yeah. And it's trapped in the child, and then, you know, we're wondering why we're functioning the way we're functioning, and it goes back to that emotional traps, what we also call generational curses and stuff too, because it can also come from family members too. You know, he talked about that, how his son had an experience that, you know, it came from his father. So but we have to learn to get into a place where we have to deal with that stuff, whether it's through therapy, God, some kind of way we have to deal with this stuff. In order for us to be whole, in order for us to be that person that God can use in the earth. Because we have people who are being salt in the earth. I don't know why people put the rice in there. It was for something. I can't remember. My mama told me one time. But they don't have the rice and the salt, making sure the nutrients is still pure. I think that is why.
Yeah, that's why.
And we're getting tainted. We're letting the salt become tainted in this earth because we're being pulled every direction, and we're letting everything else impart into us.
Yeah, man, that is so true, man. I forgot where I was gonna go because you just like dropped a lot on us, man. But yeah, that's where I was gonna go. Because I'm big on audiobooks too. That helps me. Like I've been trying to do the Bible in a year every year, and then on top of that, I try to read a lot of ebooks. I probably do anywhere from like 40 to 60 ebooks a year. I'll be so here's my secret though. Here's my secret, and my family makes fun of me for it, but I listen at 2.0 speed. And and I do I probably do like an hour in the morning, an hour at night, like when I'm really on my grind. Outside of that, it's like a car ride or something. But that's how I get all these books in. And one of the last ones I read was emotional intelligence. So I gotta look up emotional code, but emotional intelligence was kind of like, I think you probably like that just for what you described, but it really hones us in on recognizing emotional cues in ourselves and others and how to be responsive. And really taking how people's triggers, we can use that. I don't want to say to our advantage, but we can use that to help us help them. Because a lot of us take everything on ourselves. Like you say something and they go wild, they go crazy, or they get argumentative or defensive. But that's a them. It's not really a us thing. And we can recognize that in somebody. You can shift. How you were saying, you can shift the conversation into your favor, which would be in their favor. Like, okay, they're responding this way. Let me get into the root. And then that's where discernment comes in too. It kind of had the spiritual touch on it. It's like when you have the true power of discernment, you can say, okay, that's not really the issue. Deep down, they're triggered because of this underlying thing.
Yeah.
And I think we have to really best position ourselves to always be ready for that. Because I find myself in getting into modes where I'm like, I need some me time, and sometimes I sit in me time too long where I'm not really working on me. I'm chilling in me, but I'm not working on me, which is like studying. Okay, God, what do you have for me today? What books can I read or listen to that's gonna build me up to help somebody else? Usually, I'm just like chilling, and so when we don't have those reps in of building ourselves up, then we kind of lose out. It's like you use it or lose it. And then we end up losing what we can give out to others. And you said something. I wanted to make a point. Do you watch anime at all? Do you like anime?
I used to.
You used to. So I used to like anime. The reason I brought it up because I used to like anime, but I'm kind of getting back into because I'm bored. I can't find nothing new to watch, so I'm watching some shows that some friends recommend. But I'm thinking about these top characters, right? And this for the anime people. I like people like Goku from Dragon Ball. I like Luffy from One Piece. Like these guys fight, right? When they fight, they can smile. They can get a building thrown on them. They can get blasted in the right. They can be on the verge of death, and then they get back up because they're fighting for their loved ones. They're fighting for what they believe in, and when I look at that, I'm like one of these characters. Like everything around me is happening. The same thing with Jesus. Like even more so, they're like emulating, if you really believe about it, the main character, the one that's that everyone looks to, emulates Christ in a way, in the sense that Christ died for us, but he got up again. And so these characters, it may look like they're at the point of death, but then they get back up again. And so it's like, they just experienced the worst thing. There's no way they can survive that. I literally saw an episode where it was like, there's no way he survived that. And then they get up and they put that little anime smirk on, they do that. And then the villain's like, what? How, right? And that's you. Like when you bounce back and get up, those people that was praying against you, those people that was like speaking down on you, they're like, what?
Yeah.
How are they
Yeah.
smiling? What is this? What do they have? Let me follow for more. And so I'm like, it didn't hit me till I was just watching an episode. I'm like, that's really how like God made me. There's a reason why I like these shows, because the hero bounces back every single time. Like Captain America, he'd be like, I could do this all day, right? Like it's one of those places where you really have to become to a mentally tough place, like because there's a consequence that's going to come with that.
Yeah.
You mentally accept that you can do this all day, that like you can always bounce back, right? Once you accept that, you got to be ready for whatever life throws at you. And y'all heard my story today. So like I made that commitment with God. I'm like, God, I'm here. Here am I. I made that commitment a long time ago. Here am I. I feel kind of bad though. Because I'm like, because I want to bring love, I want to bring positivity to the world, but I also want to be like, Lord, send me. If no one else will go, I've been praying that since I took the Lord seriously. I said, look, if no one else will go, if someone didn't answer the call, let me answer that call for them. Like if someone don't want to step up to it, someone don't want to go, let me be the one, and you go with me.
I want to say something to that, but that's a real scenario, because if somebody else doesn't want to go, God does send somebody else in that place, because thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So what's going on in the heavens has to match what's going on in the earth. So whatever God will is in the heavens, it has to be thy will be done. It has to be done on earth. So if this person doesn't want to do it, well, okay, I got to send somebody else. So that's a real scenario.
And what I'm gonna tell you something crazy. My father-in-law, who's a pastor, right? He gave me something that I want y'all to hear this. If God gives you something, even if no one ever heard of it, do something with that. Because to that point, he said he was teaching on that. He was teaching on as it is in heaven, so it is in earth. He said, so when that thing happens in heaven and he throws it down to earth, and the one didn't pick it up, someone's gonna come along and pick it up, and they might be of the world. So he might give you this $1 million. He might have gave you this $1 billion idea. And I'm gonna tell a testimony. I was laughing with my roommate the other day because we just like reconnected. One of my roommates for college. We were hungry one morning and we was like, man, if we could have like a delivery service that can deliver breakfast to the campus. This is back when I was in college in 2010. My roommate, we were like, hey, we have some system people pay us. We go pick up the breakfast, drop it off here, right? We didn't do that. You know when Uber Eats, that came out first, right? That was 2014, DoorDash 2015. All the food delivery services came out about 4 years after me and my roommate had that idea. Now you got Lyft, you got Uber, you got DoorDash. Came out 4 or 5 years after me and my roommate in our college dorm had this whole brainstorm idea of a business proposal.
So you dropped the bag, in other words.
I dropped the bag. God was like, someone go. Look, I feel like God was throwing it around. He was like, because they do the similar thing. So someone picked up and called it DoorDash. Someone else picked it up and called it Uber. Someone else picked up and called it Lyft. Someone else picked it up and called it Instacart. Right? People was picking it up. I didn't pick up mine.
And I tell you something. I always look for the gaps. Like, we see everybody doing, they say, it's always somebody else doing the same things. But I always look at, I see what they're doing, but where's the gap at?
Oh, yeah.
Because wherever the gap is, okay, God, show me how to fill in that gap right there. I started looking up faith and leadership because, the way it was shown to me, and it's been going on, but really since 2020, if we really look at it, it exposed leadership. And what I mean is, on jobs, people ain't dealing with leadership the way that they used to.
People quit in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's like, I don't need this. You want to treat me like this? I don't need. Okay, so that's where I come in. Let me show you how to be a relentless leader now, because we have a lot of people in leadership positions that don't have that characteristic of a leader. So let me help you and train you how to be that leader to help your retention rate. There's the gap right there. I might have said too much right now, but hey, I'm already working on it. So y'all can't take that. Y'all may take the idea, but I got the blueprint.
Yeah. Hey, they need that. They need that. Because it's like so many people want to be content creators now. Ain't no shame. I'm not shaming that or anything. But we're learning that you might not need no 9 to 5, job that you don't need to be at. Look, let me go make a couple TikToks for 30 days and I'll make some money. Right?
Yeah.
If you have that discipline, let me go get on Instagram, let me go to YouTube and talk about the same thing over and over again. I'll eventually make some money. So like they're learning how to do that now.
Yeah.
Right. And so companies are missing out on that. Like I saw somewhere, I didn't think it was real, but they bumped their minimum wage up to like $25, but it was like some fast food restaurant to get people in there because they was losing. Like they're doing anything they can to get people in, and people are like, man, I don't care how much you pay me, I ain't working for that company. Oh, actually, it was my old job, Wells Fargo. One of my friends that like just left there. They were like, so they can retain people because they have such a bad name in the news, and I don't mind talking negatively about them until the Lord convict. The Lord ain't convict me yet, so I'm trying to save people. If I'm working with that company, because I met great people but had bad experiences. I put it like that. Worked with great people. All the great people I met, all of them are doing their own thing now or somewhere else. So.
Well, you could talk negative about them, but I'm gonna extend my services to them because, that's it, and that's the problem. Because, like you said, they raising the pay, but you're not changing the structure. You're not changing the character. Oh man, you're not changing the character of the company.
Hey, I would encourage you. I think I would say yes. You need to get in touch with HR or whomever that does like leadership management over there. I think that is needed because they're also losing great leaders.
Yeah,
they've lost a lot of great leaders for God knows what. And I'm like, look, if you get rid of all these great people and great leaders, and you're wondering why your company is suffering,
yeah,
you're keeping the wrong people. Y'all keeping the wrong people. So yeah, I would definitely encourage that. I would say, hey, that was me referring somebody to you for your business for sure. Definitely help them out because they're always in the news for something. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So, let me say, as y'all can see, we did not do a Let's Talk About It segment in this episode. God, the Holy Spirit nudged me. Don't even do it this episode because it was so much that was already being released. I already knew God was in this, and man, this is a fire episode. I'm actually gonna make it a 2-part.
Okay, because I did want to do one of your Let's Talk About It. I know we're wrapping up soon, but like, could you let everyone know like what would you want to talk about now that like
I tell you what, I since you brought it up,
what would you want to talk about? Because I can go there anyway.
We could do the Let's Talk About It.
Oh, hey,
I got it queued up right here.
I got time, man. You got time?
I got time.
My kids ain't knock on the door yet, so
Well, you already know how the drill go. Based off of the speakers that you put, I did the research, so we just gonna get straight to it. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Let's do it.
Here's what I know about overcoming. 2 things. One is you have to believe that you can overcome. It really is centered in a belief that you can, no matter what the challenge or what the problem, you can come out on top. Number 2 is I have to take action. No one has overcome anything great by thinking about it, hoping to do it, having good intentions. We have to take action. I don't know today what has kind of been maybe beating you up or perhaps making you feel like it was overcoming you, but whatever it is, look at it differently today. 1, say, I believe that I can overcome this area. And number 2, I'm going to take action to start that process.
John Maxwell, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
So you already know how it goes, man. I'm gonna just let you run it.
So one phrase I think I got it from one of John Maxwell's is no, he didn't write that book, but think big, set goals, take action. So that's a big concept that I believe in, is that in order for us to get to a place of overcoming, we have to take action with it. First, you have to say it, because you got to say it first, and then you got to internalize it. And sometimes you got to take that leap of faith and jump into it. In order for us to overcome anything, you have to first decide that you want to overcome it. The thing is, the secret here's the secret with overcoming. You got to move before you're not able to overcome it. You got to move first. So, for example, I'm, like when you see like those movies when like the weakling in the military, they're struggling. Then they decide, you know what, I'm going to do. And then they have that one cutaway scene, that B-roll where they're training. And then next thing you know, it's like raining and muddy, and they do the obstacle course and they finish it. And then, the next thing you know, they do it in front of everybody and they win. Everyone's like, oh, you finally did it, right? But they decided, one, to overcome. And then two, they took action with it. You don't want to sit on it, because as soon as you decide to overcome, the enemy's going to start setting traps before you. The enemy's going to start trying to distract you. The enemy's going to start trying to put things in your way that's going to prevent you from overcoming. As you can see behind me, right? I decided, look, I'm going to get in shape. So I had my gym in my garage, and I'm in Florida, so it gets hot really quick. No one's working out in a hot garage. So I decided, hey, I'm serious about getting back in shape. I moved everything into my office, split my office in half. I do have my recording on one side behind me, which you don't see. In front of me, which you don't see. And then on the other side is my gym stuff, right? I wanted to overcome being lazy and not getting my workouts in. You see a puncher bag sitting right there. You can't see it right now, but I got weights and stuff on the floor. I got everything set up here because I decided, and as soon as I decided, I moved everything in here. And now I spend so much time in this room, I have to lift some weights. I have to hit that bag. I have to do something to stay consistent. I cannot pass this room now without doing a set of something. Whatever you're doing to overcome, it takes you first deciding. But the biggest thing with overcoming is taking action. You get diagnosed from the doctor about a sickness, about an illness. Are you going to just take that and just sit in it? Or are you going to say, you know what, I'm going to get my health right, and I'm going to start with my next meal? Yeah, that makes me think of another thing. With overcoming, right? It takes baby steps, right? It takes baby steps. You have to, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, if it's something that was worth overcoming, it's going to be the size of an elephant to you, right? And how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You probably heard that phrase before, but you eat an elephant one bite at a time. It starts with one step. How do you walk a mile? You start with one step. How do you change your lifestyle habit? How do you improve your health? Starts with one meal. Everything starts with one. How do you grow spiritually? It starts with reading one scripture. It starts with praying one prayer. It starts with maybe attending one service. How do you grow from where you are? It starts with maybe making one call for help, reading one book about mindset, reading one book about growth. Everything starts with one. So you have to figure out what that first step is, what that first step looks like to you, and take it. And that's how you overcome. Do you want to overcome? Is the other thing you have to ask yourself. Do you want to get out of this? Because people find comfort in trauma. People find comfort in victimization. People find comfort in the negativity. So you have to actually decide, do I want better? Do I want to be better? Do I want to feel better? Do I want to think better? And as soon as you decide yes, immediately take action. The sooner you take action, the less likely roadblocks are going to be there.
Man, I like the way you tied all of that in. The punching bag and everything, because I was gonna actually mention, now don't y'all try my boy, because you see the punching bag in the back.
Oh yeah, don't try to look. I lay hands in the spirit. look. That's good.
For me, when you talk about overcoming, and just really thinking about, tying in what you said. Mm-hmm. And thinking about that relentless mindset. Yeah. And like you said, anytime you start gearing up, the enemy starts gearing up. And one of my biggest pet peeves is because the trials and the tests are rising up, because the enemy is rising up, we often feel like, well, maybe it's not meant to be. And for me, that is like one of the biggest tricks that causes people to quit, because they feel like just because it's getting hard right now, just because the elephant is in the way right now, it seems like it's hard. It seems like, well, maybe this isn't meant to be. Yeah, everything is going to be hard when you first started off. When you're starting off a new journey, everything seems to be difficult. When you're about to go through elevation in your business, everything seems difficult. When you're about to go through elevation in different parts of your life, whether it's your marriage, where is it's friendships, everything seems difficult at the time. But what I need you to do is not give up in those moments. What I need you to do is be relentless. What you need to do first is seek God. Ask God, where do I need to be to make sure that I am in proper alignment? So when you start raining down on me, I am in the right place. Because see, a lot of times when God is ready to rain down, when it's that season for the blessings to come down, to overflow, we're not in the position that we need to be. And that is why we have to attune our ears. We have to be attentive to what God is doing, and we have to be in alignment. And there's so many people that are saying, I'm waiting on God to bless me, but you're not in the position, you're not in the place that God has been telling you to be in. You're not in thy will be done. God, what is your will for my life? What is your will for my life in this season? What is your will for my life on this day? Where do you need me to be positioned? If you don't hear nothing else from me today, I need you to understand that you need to be in position. You need to be in the right place at the right time. I don't care even when you get to that place, Jacob, you're wrestling with God, but you're going to be in that right place. Because what it seems like everything is hard right now. You're trying to wrestle with God, but like I said this earlier in the season, God is trying to give you a new identity. He's trying to show you, he's trying to reveal to you who you are. You're not the trickster. You're not this. Oh man, it's tying into what we was talking about earlier. You're not those negative words. You are blessed. You are healed. What God is saying about you, I need you to step in and to align yourself in agreement, because aligning yourself in agreement is also a position. It's also a process. It's a position that you need to be in. So make sure you are in alignment and in agreement with what God is saying.
If I could plug in real quick, I had a virtual course I used to but I have. It's called Positive Alignment.
Yeah.
And I'll just give you free game on that, how that works. So there's 3 phases to it, right? It's discovering your mindset. So we talk about self-sabotage, overcoming that, overcoming self-doubt, and then finding the root cause of, why you are the way you are. Did you have a traumatic experience where you were young, and digging that up, and then we go into unveiling the negativity. You guys could take notes on this. If you listen to like what I'm about to say right now, you may not have to do the whole course. You can do it on your own. But then you go through you break down all the things you want to believe about yourself, you're working to believe about yourself, and then on the other side, all the negative things that have been spoken about you, and then you rip up the negative side and you pray and focus on the positive side. And then you take action with it, and you start working on yourself. And part of it is like fasting, praying, and changing your diet, cleansing out everything that you need to get rid of. I have this thing where like I don't buy junk, so my kids can't have junk. My kids love to eat fruits and stuff. They love candy when they get to it, but if I'm not buying it, they ain't gonna eat it. So their candy is fruits and healthy snacks, right? I'm not buying it. It's not in my house. Just like when he said, hey, go get rid and kill everything in the camp. God said it to the Israelites. There was a reason why he said that. He said, you don't want to be tainted. You don't want to be destroyed. Listen, y'all going to have problems if y'all don't do that. Y'all going to have problems down the line if you don't get rid of it. So like health-wise, you're going to have problems down the line if you don't get those sugars, that candy, all that stuff about your house. You want a healthier lifestyle? Go cleanse the land. Go cleanse the cabinets. Go cleanse the fridge of all that kind of stuff. And then only buy what I tell you to buy, right? That's for your health, right? And so you got to get rid of all those things, right? And we walk through that. But then what makes it a bonus is once you figure it out, help somebody else figure it out. Share your story, share your testimony, because you feel this desire to keep going. So now that I'm on your podcast, I'm saying I'm a mindset coach. Now I'm accountable for giving this information out more, because I don't want people to be like, what happened to Mo? What happened to Maurice? Why he ain't posting no more? Why is he ain't sharing this? Now I'm accountable. I established myself as this person. I shared my story, and now people are going to be looking at me for, okay, what's next? What's God going to do with them next? What's God going to do with K Noel next? Because now that he's on here, we've seen his content. What is he going to do with him next? Whoever you are listening to this, what are you going to do with the next? So those are the 3 steps. So you got to discover and kill whatever it is that has the potential to hold you back. And then you got to cleanse and feel nothing but what God has for you. He's going to give you your assignment. He's going to, like, I'll never forget. I never forget one out of the blue. God just told me to change my diet. He just told me to change my diet for like a time. And I think like recently, like I did the carnivore diet for about like almost like 2 months. But then like I got off of it, and then like a while back, he always does, and something happens as a result of that to my favor. Like one time I just went totally vegan. God was like, "Hey, only eat this," and I'm like, "Okay, God, I'm gonna cleanse or fast food." And when I do that, and then down the line, if I get like I have to go to get a checkup or something, they're like, "Oh, your readings are good. Like, what's going on with you here?" Like, and it's a good report, right? Again, another thing too. Your diet helps your emotion. You want to work on overcoming, you want to work on mindset, cleanse your diet. I'm gonna say cut out sugars and carbs if you can. cut out sugars and a lot of carbs. Eat fruits, veggies. I'm a big fan of meat. Fruits, veggies, and meat. That's what I do. Whatever God gives you to do, he might just say veggies only. He might just say vegan only. He might say pescatarian. He might tell you, hey, whole foods diet. He might tell you raw food diet. Whatever God gives you, lock in. Because if the idea comes, that means it's time for it. If something comes into your mind and to your benefit, that means it's time to act. And I think it wasn't John Maxwell. It was, I think, Jim Rowe or one of those guys that was like, he's like, the best time to act is when you get the idea.
Yeah.
Because if you move once you get the idea and build that habit, you'll always be a step ahead. You'll always step over those things that are going to, try to block you. So you want to build a habit of moving. Oh, I do want to change my diet. Oh, let me go make a salad right now. As soon as I'm done listening to this, let me go make that salad real quick. Take one meal at a time. Make your next meal your good meal. Make your next 15 minutes. Okay, as soon as I'm done listening to this, 5 minutes of prayer time. It's the little things, the little decisions at a time. We get caught up in like, oh, can I commit to this for a week? Can I commit to this until next year? No. What are you doing today? Did I help myself today? Did I 5 minutes of prayer today? Did I work out for 5 minutes? Like, set little goals. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave my rant at that. Set little goals. That's my secret, y'all. Set little goals every single day. Check them off. Check off those little goals. It's going to change your life. Now I end that. Yeah.
Man.
Sorry, I'll be going. I'm sorry. I'll be.
Nah, man, you good. You good. We're going to come to an end now, though. I don't know if you even have any more final words.
Hey, man, I got words, but where do you want me to go with the final?
Man, however the spirit leads you, bro.
All right, I'll end with this. If you want to see change in your life, it starts with one decision and an action. And be realistic with your change. Don't get so caught up in how much someone else has changed. This right here that you see before you is 7 months in action, right? Don't worry about your 6-7 month self from now, your year self from now. Worry about your today self for now. Set small, obtainable goals for yourself to overcome, to be better, to do better, to increase your mindset, whatever it is you want to do, wherever it is you want to go, whoever it is you want to be. Make a small effort every single day to be more of that person and break off the person that you were. Every decision you made and did not make leading up to now is the reason why you are who you are today. So figure out what you need to change to be who you need to be tomorrow. Tomorrow is coming. Tomorrow's, the past already happened. And today is a result of that. So if you want to be different tomorrow, decide right now, make the change right now, take action right now. And don't make it hard on yourself. Little actions repetitively will change who you are as a person.
Man, this has been an amazing episode, bro. Oh, and where can everybody find you at?
I'm Maurice I. Jones everywhere. MauriceIJones.com is my website. If you want more information on my mindset coaching and personal development, I also help families with financial literacy. I help families and churches learn about financial literacy to grow. That might be another episode that we could talk about. Well, what the word says about growth. So, and then I have the Mo or Less podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at Mo or Less podcast and subscribe at all podcast channels.
Awesome, man. Bro, listen, I appreciate you, man. I knew God was gonna do his thing, and he definitely did his thing. So
just hope I was a blessing to you, man. You was a blessing to me for sure, man.
Man, you definitely blessed me, bro. Man, this has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to let you know, man, I appreciate you, man, and we definitely gonna continue to lock in with each other.
Well, for sure. Yeah, sure.
No doubt. But for all my viewers, for all of my listeners, you already know the drill. Leave no days left behind. And nevertheless, and most importantly, you be relentless. I'm Noel, your relentless motivator. And you already know how it is. No matter if it's morning, noon, day, or night, you have a great day. And I am out.
Hey, aren't you glad? I'm bringing it back. My chains in the past.